Hello and welcome to channel 411. What you see in front of you here is a Ford F-150 2015 to 2022 skid plate kit from Amazon. I got tired of the felt skid plate falling off, and so I decided to buy this one and paint it blue, as you can see. I think it turned out well, and now I'm going to show you how I installed it. There were no instructions that came with this, so let's go and give it a go and see how it goes. So here is the Ford factory skid plate that I am replacing with the metal plates that you saw painted. The thing I can't stand about these felt skid plates that come from the factory is they come apart. And you'll see that right here. Over time and oil changes, they just get soaked and come apart. So they're just not meant to last. They're not cheap either. I checked the price on this. It's around 160 bucks Canadian. So I'm not really in desire of changing this every 45, 50K. So I'm just gonna go with the metallic skid plates that I painted from Amazon. Only cost me $300 for the set. I'll repaint them the color I want, as you saw, the Ford blue, and rock with those. I think it's a great upgrade. Here's the hardware it came with, and let's have a look. Again, there are no instructions that came with this kit, so I'm kind of gonna wing it. Looks like some threaded clips, some kind of winged bolts, some regular bolts, and lots of washers. So I am under the truck. As you can see, there is the transmission oil pan. I have, you probably remember from a previous episode of me changing my oil, I removed the previous, or the factory installed felt pad and left it off and purchased this new budget-friendly Amazon F-150 skid plate kit. So the old felt padded skid plate is off. As you move up to the front of the truck, you will see the factory installed felt pad for the front. I'm going to remove that, and this bolt here is coming out. This bolt here is coming out. I believe this metal skid plate here is going to stay. And a couple of bolts back here are coming out. Those are gonna get chucked away because the new one is going to start here and then come back through here, and then of course we're gonna have the longer piece go here, and I'll show you, bring you through it as I install them. But anyway, the task right now is to get this old factory felt pad out. All right, again, as a point of reference, we're starting at the transmission pan, moving upward toward the front of the truck. There's this little tray here, and that tray is just basically there to support that felt skid plate that I removed this morning, just now, and the other one that I removed during my oil change. So that can come out. And then these bolts get used for the mounting the second piece. I have since mounted the first piece, as you can see. So one bolt here, one bolt here, and that is right next to the lower control arm. That is. And then of course the next ones, the front ones, actually go into a bolt that holds in the intercooler. You can see that there and over there. Okay, so now we're looking at the front of the truck. Like I said, I have installed that front piece, but I have also removed these back bolts because the second piece that goes in and protects the differential and part of the oil pan here actually has to slide into this skid plate here. And it's nice because when it's tight, this skid plate is tight on these bolts here that are holding on to the or securing the intercooler. This doesn't move, so it's good. It's nice and easy. It's being held in place, so it's kind of an easy install as far as I'm concerned. So next step is to install that second piece, slide it into underneath this first skid plate piece, and then secure it to these existing clips, nut clips, right here on this second control arm bar. So as mentioned, I've got that second piece in. I've slid it underneath the first piece. The holes are lined up and it's ready for a bolt. The bolt that I removed. Same as here. Bolt's gonna go in right there. Just gotta line them up properly. And then moving back, we're going to fasten to these existing nut clips here. And that'll be the second piece. All right, there's the front tire. There's a control arm. And here's the second piece installed. We've got it basically fastened at the back part of the front skid plate on one side, back part of the left side of the skid plate. Here's an access door for the differential. And then of course, on this back arm here, it goes across. We've got a factory bolt here and a factory bolt here. And here is something I installed about a month and a half ago. It is a aftermarket oil plug, and it's been working flawlessly. You can check out my video on that. I can say that it's been great. No leaks. I didn't wipe this at all. Still installed the way I intended it to be installed. And it's just been amazing. So no leaks. It's gonna be a super easy oil change the next time around. And again, super happy with it. And of course, the big piece, you can see it right over there, right behind the welder. That piece is going in next. See how it's narrow at the top and a little bit wider at the bottom? The narrow part, I believe, is going to go and fasten to, again, this bolt on the left, driver's side, and this bolt on the passenger side. And let's see if I can get a wider shot of everything so far. That's as wide as I can go. Very close quarters, guys. I apologize. So far, so good. All right, so we're back at the skid plate install. We've got the front two plates in, as you can see here. It's the next day. I had to go out, so I had to continue this project today. With that in mind, the next task is to remove this bracket, factory bracket, and of course, this factory bracket that actually were used to hold up the felt skid plate from the factory. So we'll get rid of those. They're no longer required. They are a 13 millimeter bolt right here, and we'll get those out. All right, welcome back. So the prep is as follows for this last long piece. You've got the bolts here that will be removed to fasten the front side of that skid plate. And then here on the passenger side, you're going to have 2 bolts on the transmission cross member, and they're just going to stick down. They're the longer T-bolts. So one goes in the hole, that locks this one into place from sliding over. But I've got a washer on this one and just the T-bolt on this. No, I've got a washer on both actually. And then on this side, you'll see these factory holes. There's a square hole, and then a square hole here, and a round hole here, square hole here, and a round hole here that line up with the holes in the skid plate. And that's how it goes. So then you're going to put the nuts on here that are supplied with the kit, and then the bolts over here that are supplied with the kit. So I'll get on that now, and we'll see you when it's in. All right, so I got everything fastened up. These guys were not long enough to get the compression washers in, so hopefully they're tight enough and they'll hold up. Otherwise, I'll have to flip around the clips so that the bolts can extend into them a little bit better. But we'll see how it goes. Then, of course, the T-bolts right there were fun. They were hard to tighten up, but I put a vice grip on the end of the threads with a rag and was able to tighten those up. So it's looking pretty good. Again, I painted this to the color that I wanted it to be. It matches the engine cover that I put on this 2019 Ford with a 2.7 liter engine. And then, of course, I wanted to check to see if the access door for the oil change lines up with the oil pan drain, and it does, so that's really nice. I'm going to be using this with a hose, so it'll be an easy oil change. And yeah, that was one thing I was very curious about, to see if it was going to line up. But looks pretty good. I'll also get some more footage of the final product from the front, but there's where she goes. Sorry about the hand. All the way up, all the way back. Again, I'll get some more footage from a longer, a deeper, or a wider angle. Yeah, so it's a heck of a lot better than what I had on it. It's definitely an upgrade. Not the flashiest or most expensive skid plate, but it does the job. And that's really all I was after. And it looks pretty good too. Okay, here's another angle of the install, starting at the front. Here's the front of the truck, and then going under. All the way to the back. Pretty slick. There are doors throughout for access. That would probably be to get access, that door there, to drain the radiator. This would be to get access to the front differential right there. And of course, the last one there that I had out was to gain access to the oil pan drain. And I can say that the bolts that were used to fasten this, those two there, that you can see right in the frame. And these two here, this guy over here, and this one underneath the intercooler, and that one underneath the intercooler were all factory bolts. So the only bolts that were not factory were those four at the very end there. So really from the kit, I only used the 4 bolts, the smaller ones and then the larger ones in the kit. And like I'm pretty pumped about this. I'm gonna go take it for a test run. But I'm actually almost willing to say that, you know, I might just get better gas mileage with this because it's gonna, you know, it's gonna streamline a little bit better the airflow, especially at higher speeds. I mean, feel free to comment on that, but I think that might be the case. Maybe that's offset by the extra weight of this particular kit, but it's not really heavy. It's pretty small gauge. I think it's maybe 2 millimeter stamped sheet metal. And as far as any gripes about this product, I did have a bit of difficulty getting in this first piece of the front here because it wasn't bent properly. I had to actually bend it a little bit with vice grips to get it to match, to get this bend to match the bend on the other side, on the driver's side. And then when I installed it, I really had to force this in a bit to get it to fit. But other than that, it's pretty awesome. Again, all of these factory bolts were 15 millimeter heads. The ones at the back there, that one there on the right, those two on the right driver's side were 13 mil. And then those ones there, I just wrenched with a wrench, an adjustable wrench. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. The fit is pretty decent, as you can see, you know, around major components here, around the front part of the control arm, lower control arm. You can see it fits around there. Like I said, the only issue was right here, the bend. I don't know if it was bent during shipping or whatnot, but I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments if you had the same issue with yours. I'll put a link into the description for the product. You can get it on Amazon. But yeah, I'm super happy about this. Way better than the felt factory skid plates they put on there. Way down there. Say bye-bye to that. It's going in the garbage. All right, there's another look at the skid plate or plates from the passenger side. And a final look from the driver's side. I'd say pretty slick. And there is the felt front part of the factory skid plate.